but you're never gonna be me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep, move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan. Got an abbreviated show for you tonight, but we're going to go ahead and get the party started. We're going to talk about the Shazam family of movies, starting with Black Adam and ending with Shazam2, Fury of the Gods. Everyone who's going to be on the panel tonight have seen it, so we'll be able to make some informed criticisms. I got a lot about both, so we're going to get into it. Let me see what we got here. All right. First, let me go ahead and bring one of the persons on the panel with me tonight. Let me bring on the Twitter overlord. He rules Twitter with an iron fist the way only he can. Let me bring my man Ambrose in. Ambrose, what's up?
Just taking out one troll at a time, man.
There you go. There you go. That's why I got to set the members only. Because if you're gonna troll, you're gonna have to pay the troll.
Pay that troll toll.
That's right. And what's up, man? Thank you for coming out tonight. We do appreciate it. We're talking about the Black Adam and Shazam 2 movies tonight. If you want to join in, let me know.
We're going to talk about 1, 2, because it's been a while since I've seen 1, so I might be a little shaky on the facts with that one.
Oh, no, I was just going to go Black Adam and then into Shazam 2.
Great, because I watched both of those this week.
Yeah. I forgot about Mania, man. I saw your boy Bobby Lashley last night win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You think he was going to win that thing?
He's still wrestling?
Yeah, Bobby's still wrestling. Yeah, he's in his 40s. He's still wrestling. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to talk about Black Adam. Before I go in, we got Diamond coming in with us in a little bit, guys. She's seen both movies as well. So
she's running a little late.
Yeah, she's running a little bit late. So we're going to go ahead and get everybody's opinions and thoughts in. But let me ask you this. What did you think about Black Adam?
I have very mixed feelings about it because I thought he was going to be set up to be a villain for Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
And they went with the Teth Adam storyline, kind of like the newer one, I guess, because that's the one that's fresh in everyone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a fan of the Teth Adam. I know that's something. It's kind of like the Star Wars sequels, where half the people love it and half the people don't like it. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of in the middle because he was such a ruthless villain.
Yes,
and I would have loved to just see the original Black Adam that came in and didn't give a damn and didn't have feelings,
mm-hmm.
and just wanted to eliminate Shazam so he could have all the power. And they went a different way. As far as the movie goes, I thought it was visually amazing. You can definitely tell when you're looking at the DC, even though a lot of the DC movies aren't as good as the Marvel movies, the VFX is a lot better. The special effects look a lot better. They flow better. The Marvel movies, you can tell they're all dancing in front of a green screen. The Shazam movies especially are just so visually well done. They're colorful. They're fun. Even though they're flying through the air, it looks realistic when one of them crashes into a building.
Mm.
So I thought the movie itself was good, but I could also see why it didn't do well at the box office, which is the opposite of what I think about Shazam 2.
Now, my issue is I love the way they did Dr. Fate from the JSA.
That was definitely Dr. Fate, and I was really happy to see Aldous Hodge because I'm a huge fan of the show Leverage.
Yes, me too.
And he did a good job as Hawkman because that was Hawkman to a T in the comics. And him and Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan nailed that role. So I will say he crushed it.
Oh yeah, he did. He really did. But my problem, but I just didn't like outside of him, and I just didn't like the way the JSA was done. As I bring Diamond in, Diamond, how you doing?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Doing
How
pretty
we
good.
doing, Diamond? Doing good. I'm tired, but I love doing this show. So I'm just gonna go to bed after this and hope we put on a good show for everybody.
That's good.
Before we let Diamond talk, I'll say, yeah, I don't agree with the way they did the JSA either. Adam Smasher and what was the Win lady's name?
I don't know. Oh, Cyclone.
Cyclone. They were so useless in that movie. They really brought nothing to the table.
No,
They tried to make them comic relief, and the jokes fell flat. And they really, like, the movie, it would have no effect, negative or positive, if they were not in the movie. They were. What'd you say?
Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I didn't mean to jump in. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I just don't think they'd have, I was done. I was just saying, I don't think they'd have any effect, negative or positive, if they were just not in the movie. They were just space fillers, and nothing that they did really worked.
Yeah. I just want to find out. I wasn't Adam Smasher. I sort of kind of get because it's got a little bit of a lineage there, but I didn't care for Cyclone at all.
There was no development with either of them. And I'm going to shut up after I say this because I want Diamond. She just got here. I want her to be able to talk. There was no development for either of them. It was just kind of like a goofy kid who could grow really tall and Wind Lady. And there was she kind of touched in on how she was enhanced by nanobots, and she kind of resents it. But that was one sentence. It didn't really carry into anything. So, I was kind of disappointed in the character development for those two, and I think Dr. Fate and Hawkman really just carried it.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think, Diamond?
I thought that the movie was from when because I was so hyped. I was really hyped to see it that I was like, oh my gosh, the movie's gonna look so good. And then when I saw it, the CG, I guess the CGI was kind of bad for it, or not CGI, but it was the zoom in for the rocks, when he's flying and everything, that kind of looked dumb. It kind of looked like a bullet going 40 miles an hour or something.
See, I have to say I disagree with you there because I think it just looks better than Marvel. Even though you say it doesn't look good, and it might not look good on its own, but it looks better than the Marvel VFX is inferior to what they're doing in the DC series.
Mm-hmm. But I kind of thought that they should have, I guess, worked more on Black Adam's character, make him the reason why he became an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what the origin story was for the movie, but it was kind of it felt like it left out a lot of parts that could have made it a lot more better. Same with the character wise. Besides what John said, Dr. Fate and Hawkman. Those are the only two characters that kind of were fleshed out in a way.
And I think that they should have had, instead of it being the big twist that Teth Adam was the kid's dad and the kid died, I think it would have been better off if they did it the old-fashioned way and there were little snippets of flashbacks going in through the movie instead of them trying to make it a twist.
Mm-hmm.
Because they made it a twist and you're just kind of like, well, all right. Can we get back to the fighting? Twists in superhero movies rarely ever work. It's we knew you were the bad guy all along. Okay, can we get back to the fighting, please?
The thing that kills me, I didn't like the way the JSA was represented overall.
I agree.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that everybody popped for Superman, but Billy was already developed at that point, and you could have very easily had brought him into it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of pissed me off about it. Was that and the fact that he had Superman, and that was the major. That's what the people wanted to go see. They're like, "Oh, I want to go see Superman be in there," but you had to wait till the very end just to see that part, and it's a whole waste of $20 you wasted.
I think there's something between The Rock and Zachary Levi, because there's no reason why Shazam shouldn't have been in that movie.
None.
Shazam was a blockbuster. It was one of the diamonds in the rough in the DCU, and I don't know what Warner's doing. They should have been sticking Shazam in everything, because he was one of the few profitable movies that they put out. And he's the arch nemesis of Black Adam, and and it just shows, The Rock. I just think The Rock disrespected the source material.
I think so too.
I think here's my problem. He went on a CNN interview saying he grew up around comics, but my thing is, you must have been a casual and not a full-fledged comic book fan. Because if you would have dove more into the inner secrecies of both characters, you would have known that they're mortal enemies, and that's what everybody wanted to see. This dude wants to go a whole different direction and pull Henry Cavill, and I get it, but that's something I would have rather seen after we got the Black Adam Shazam fight.
And I think that's a huge problem across the superhero movie industry, is they're not getting people that know the material, and they're not getting people that respect the material. If, as much as I hate Kevin Smith, if you put Kevin Smith in charge of that movie, it would have been him versus Shazam.
Yep, I agree, and that's where it should have been. But everybody did pop toward the end. We saw him for possibly the last time as Superman. But like I said, this movie to me still had a lot to be desired to me.
I think it was on the cusp of being a really good movie, and it just didn't close the deal. It was okay, I was watching it, and and I'll say it again, because it's just, I really thought visually, aside from now that Diamond pointed it out, him flying did look wonky. But the fight scenes and the sky cycles and everything, visually the movie looked great. Aside from the flying, he kind of looked like an 1800s bullet.
1800s bullet.
But you're sitting there and you're waiting, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be the best. They're building it up, and this is gonna be an awesome. And then it ends. Spoiler alert, earmuffs for people that haven't watched it, but it's been a year, so I'm going to spoil it for you. Sorry.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Before you do that, hold on.
Yeah.
I've been told to do this.
Ring me up.
Just make sure everybody knows spoilers.
Okay, and I'll give you another 5 seconds, and I'll babble on like this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've had plenty of time. Here we go. It ends with him. One, Black Adam would not destroy his throne. He wouldn't. Yo, bro, calm it down.
Oh my god.
We're terrible, Janae. We're terrible. You know that.
But Black Adam's his trademark is his throne.
Yes.
Black Adam wouldn't
Yes.
like, and it ended like that, and I was like, that is quite possibly when you're doing a movie on someone that has that much lore, and you don't even realize that the throne is like one of his most coveted possessions, and you ended the movie with him blowing it up. Like, you clearly, The Rock The Rock read comic books like I watched Star Trek. Zero.
Yeah, I think so too. I really think so. I just think he didn't dig deep enough into the lore to know what's going on. And I think another thing too that kind of bothers me, he's thinking that pro wrestling fans are comic book geeks,
Which is
and
like,
that's not
no.
right.
I mean, a good percentage of them are, but a good percentage of them also aren't.
Exactly.
So, pro wrestling fans would much rather watch him. The majority of pro wrestling fans, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't watched pro wrestling in years. The majority of pro wrestling fans would rather watch him in Fast and Furious than in Black Adam.
I mean, you're right, but he's not in Fast and Furious no more, so it don't matter.
Yeah, he's not in that series anymore. Not
Let me guess. You had a problem with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, basically.
And to get back to what John was saying, this is the let me see if I can.
Yeah, do you have an image of him on the throne?
Hold on 1 second. I'm about to show it right now. Yeah, that was him on the throne.
That's the iconic Black Adam pose. There are like hundreds of statues.
Yep.
That people have bought. He would never blow it up. So the end was really just a letdown. It was a letdown, and I was really disappointed with that. And the movie had so much potential. I watched the trailer. I thought, I even wrote an article months back when the trailer came out, and I thought I was like, this is going to be the movie that turns DC around, because the trailer was done so well.
Yes,
and I was like, I think this is going to be a winner, but they just, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. I'm tired, a little tired tonight. They just couldn't close the deal. It was the bottom of the ninth, and you threw a meatball. They homered off of you. You're done.
And my other criticism is a small one, but I still think it's worth merit. You hardly saw him in the cape.
True. It was like a waste of a good suit, I guess, or the materials. It's like, dude, just wear the cape. You're good. Just
wear the cape.
Wear the cape. And another gripe I have with it, Black Adam wouldn't be friends with a little kid.
Nope.
True.
Nope.
He'd hang the kid up on like a coat hook and just fly away. Like he wouldn't, like that little buddy cop thing he had with the kid was, there was just so, and all you have to do is open any of one comic.
You would have saw it.
It's like the definition of a pure anti-hero, just Black Adam right there. And
he wasn't an anti-hero until recently when they introduced the Teth Adam storyline. He was a straight up villain until he was Teth Adam. Like he was brutal. And I was hoping they'd come with that angle because it would have made Shazam good. He would have been like the Joker to Shazam. Because he was ruthless when he was a villain. And then they bought the Teth Adam storyline in. And this is before you joined in. That's what I was talking to William about. And that's newer, so I can understand why they went with the Teth Adam storyline. But I think they should have gone with the brutal Black Adam and set it up for a showdown between him and Shazam, personally.
And I said this in the chat also, because the way things went down, you just killed any hope of us seeing Black Mary. You just destroyed any hope of us seeing Black Mary.
And in Shazam lore, that's a very important character.
Yep.
like a lot of people don't know Shazam lore because he slowly got overshadowed by Superman over the years. So, I mean, I read Shazam because I was a weird comic book collector, and I had read a lot of things a lot of other people didn't, because by the time I got to the shop, it was the only stuff left on the rack. So I know the Shazam lore. That's why the Flash is one of my favorite heroes. But
Ezra Miller's Flash?
No, God no. I can't sanction. That's a really sore subject for me, because ever since I was a kid, the Flash was my favorite hero, and I cannot endorse Ezra Miller. So I'm going to abstain from the movie.
Flash is cool.
I mean, I wanted to review the movie, but I'm going to cede that to another writer, because I cannot write an unbiased review with Ezra Miller starring in that movie. I can't. And I have to preserve my integrity.
Right. I think one of the things, the only time you really saw the Flash weak was in Justice League versus the Avengers, when he went over to the Marvel Universe, and there's no Speed Force in the Marvel Universe, so he didn't have access to his powers.
But how was Quicksilver fast?
Quicksilver's a mutant. And then he got his powers augmented. Yep, and he got his powers augmented. So that's how he got his speed.
Oh, so there's no Speed Force in the Marvel Universe, but Stan Lee was going to bitch about Superman just being able to jump and start flying without a propeller. Have you ever seen that rant where he's like, Thor would swing his hammer and it would propel him. You can't just put your arm up and start flying.
Yep. I remember that.
Marvel doing that.
Then Marvel started doing it themselves, so it's crazy. But
Magneto does that.
Yep. Janae said magic. It's magic. But I do love the Flash. Great character overall. I just don't like. I'm with you. I can't get down with Ezra Miller. I can't.
I'll watch it when it comes on HBO Max, but I mean, I don't think I've told Dave Gramillion yet, but because I'm sure he's expecting me to review it, but I mean, it's not fair for me to review it, because I'm not going to go into it with an unbiased set of eyes.
It's like,
I'm just brutal with it.
Like, it's kind of like me going into a Brie Larson movie. Like, I'm not going to I'm not going to like it.
Right, you already know off the rip.
Yeah, like, I'm just not going to like it.
You already know off the rip. But listen, I just want to let everybody know in podcast land out there that I talked to Sailor Venus today, and I talked to Hawkeye today, and we worked out our issues, and now we're working together for the best of anime and comic book con. I just want to let everybody know that. And if you all believe that, April Fools, that'll never happen. That'll never happen over here. Never, ever, 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 ever. Yeah, she's not a great actress. And she built like
she's not a great actress. I didn't realize there were two of her. Now I'm severely depressed.
He's too old. And both of them built like the number one.
Is there a numbered pencil? Is there a numbered pencil after one before one? Like, she's just the lead.
That's nothing of the pencil, just the lead. What did she say?
Come on, bro! Don't tell me what I'm going to see.
But overall, what grade would you guys give Black Adam? What grade, from scale of 1 to 10? What grade would you give it?
Probably like a 5, maybe a 4.5. But that's just me, because of how The Rock like self-promoted it and made it seem like it was the box office movie of the year.
Right.
Not.
Right. I mean, and I love The Rock. I do from my wrestling days. Still watch wrestling. Still do podcasts about wrestling. Love him to death. But you just destroyed a character that DC could have just went to town with.
And it's over.
Man, it's over.
Until like 10 years from now when they do a reboot.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, Black Mary, notwithstanding his issues with Spectre, and then God forbid if you were to come out with an actual live action Injustice, he was involved in that heavily also. And it's like you sort of kind of killed that too, because then even if you come out with Injustice, you have to recast the character.
Well, I also think the problem with The Rock, and he burned a lot of bridges. Like, even if the movie did well, his actions just he burned a lot of bridges with how he talked.
Yep.
And I think because he's a competitor, the movie wasn't doing well, and he melted down, and he said a lot of things, and I'm sure his agent or his handler or whatever was like, "Are you sure you want to say that, Rock?" And like, because he's used to success all the time. He had success with Jumanji. He had success with The Mummy. He had success with his TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie bombed. And when someone like that loses, they throw a temper tantrum because they're so used to being on top. And he set the DCU back a lot by doing that.
Yeah, he did.
Back to like the Hulk TV show live action thing. It's so bad.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. And I hope they can get everything fixed. I get the Henry Cavill fix. I get it. Everybody want to see Superman. Everybody want to see him back in that role. And that was just a little pre-teaser because he ends up not being fired. But would you say fired? Uncasted?
No, I think Warner Brothers Studios dropped the ball. I don't think you can't. Here's the thing with that, and I'll put it into a sports analogy. You bring in Tom Brady to be quarterback for your team. You hire me as a coach afterwards. I hate Tom Brady.
Right.
So he's not going to play for me.
Right.
And I think that's what happened with when they bought on James Gunn. If they were serious about hiring James Gunn, they should have been like, "Hey, we're bringing back Henry Cavill. What do you think?" And he should have been the one to make the decision right then and there, and it shouldn't have been that whole fiasco.
Right. I agree. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to Shazam2, Fury of the Gods. Trash. And my initial assessment, I liked it at first, but then I went back and saw it again, and I saw a lot of holes in the movie. I went back and I watched it after that. I've seen the movie 3 times. A lot of Easter eggs in there, but it just wasn't.
William, I think this is the first time publicly me and you are going to disagree on this show.
I think so, because I wish I would have, instead of going to see Shazam, I wish I would have saw John Wick.
I took some notes, if I can pull them up when I watched the movie. We've tried to find my handy dandy notepad. Blues Clues.
Finally saw
notes.
one, but I fell asleep, so I have to rewatch it. I mean, there were some good parts. Don't get me wrong, but overall, I just thought the movie was weak.
I thought it was pretty good. For like this being a sequel to a movie based on like superheroes who don't have any idea of how to use their powers. It's like more of a crash course for them.
So here are my notes on it. I thought the humor was spot on. I really like the humor. I think Zachary Levi, again, I don't know if you guys have watched Chuck. I really like the show Chuck. So you have, and that would have been great because Chuck and Leverage were kind of both the same show. If you had Zachary Levi and Aldous Hodge arguing in the mothership, it would have been like, oh man, it's these two tech nerds going at it. It's like it's Hardison versus Chuck.
Yep.
I would have liked that, but I thought the comedy was spot on. thought visually the movie was better than appealing. It was smooth. You could tell they took the time, they put the work into it. Shazam didn't look like a wobbly bullet when he flied. Sorry, I'm getting I'm trying to tweak my computer and the Facebook messages that go in my ears, so I get distracted. I like the plot. I like the introducing of the Atlas sisters. I'm a fan of Greek mythology. An amateur fan. I can't tell you I'm an encyclopedia of Greek mythology, but Greek mythology has always interested me. So I like the introduction of the Atlas sisters. I like the chemistry between the Atlas sisters. I liked how, of course, Lucy Liu was going to be the angry one. And, shout out to Lucy Liu. Lucy, you're 54. You're looking fine.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
I don't know what you're doing, but tell me so I could look as good as you at 54. Please. If it involves not drinking, I can't do that. What else was there? So the plot, I don't think the plot had many holes. You saw it 3 times. You might have seen things I didn't see, but I thought the plot was pretty pretty solid as far as superhero movies go. Every superhero movie has, a hole here and there, but the cast chemistry was really good. The Shazam family worked really well together. The fight sequences were really good. They were choreographed or animated really well. The only 2 things I really didn't like in this movie, Freddy all of a sudden just became grating and annoying to me. He was not an appealing character.
I agree.
I just was not a fan of him.
I agree.
Like, I was hoping that his crutch would give out and he'd fall off the roof when they were on that school. The Skittles commercial was unnecessary.
They owe Skittles a ton of money.
It was unnecessary. You could have done any number of things to appease a unicorn. That would have been a lot more cinematic. Like if she grabbed like a branch with leaves on it and lured it and fed it, and then you could have the close up between the kid and the unicorn. I would have done that scene so many other ways, and you wanted to get the cash grab with the Skittles, and I just was not a fan of that. That reminded me of the 80s movies where the product placement overtook the plot.
Right.
And I just was not a fan of that, like 3 or 4 minutes of the movie. But also the dome. The dome was weird. I don't understand how when the dome was going out, no one was allowed to go past it, but it's coming in, and the dude riding the scooter is allowed to ride through it. Like, the physics were all over the place in this movie. But like I said, every superhero movie has holes. I forgive them. I take them with a grain of salt. We're not looking to give this movie an Academy Award. I ate my popcorn. I drank my cherry Coke. I enjoyed it.
What did you think before I go?
I thought it was pretty good. For the most part, I liked how the kids were kind of unsure about. They agreed they were all superheroes, but they were kind of in the early process of being superheroes, of
magic isn't real, bro.
But
what? It's not.
What? And I like how they at the end of the movie they were like, "Oh, what's my hero name?" And they're like, "Shazam." That's basically what you say is your hero name. And they're like, "Oh, okay."
You know what's funny about that? Because my nephew, I took the movie because I was rewarding my nephew. My mother-in-law had a knee replacement, and he's been taking care of her. So I gave him a break for the night, and I took him out to the movie. And when he said, "What's my name?" my nephew, because we were the only 2 people in the theater, he just shouted at the screen. He was like, do not go to black. Do not go to black. Like, because he thought the movie was going to cut off when the guy said the name.
Hey.
And he was like, if they did that, I would have been so pissed off.
Dang.
Or they would have cut off midway. He's like, shut, and it's like, cut the credits.
Your name is.
And then cut the credits.
Yeah.
Or the end credit for that, or like the 2 end credits was very interesting. I'm still waiting on what, even though I don't think the movie's gonna go anywhere for that.
No, it's dead.
It's like, come on, you just wasted like 2 whole movies talking about. I forgot what the worm was. Isn't he like Brainiac or no?
I think it's supposed to be Brainiac.
Yeah, that like threw me off. I was like, what's the plan, Brainiac? Just tell me.
What's going on? Let me know what's up.
The movie
walks off.
I mean, I thought that was funny,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, I don't think the movie has even broken even yet. So I don't. We're not gonna. And James, I think the problem with James Gunn in charge of DC is James Gunn doesn't want to do what the fans want to do. James Gunn wants to do what James Gunn wants to do, and he's more focused on the authority than he is on getting an actual movie or show that people want to see.
Right.
So I don't think he really even cares about this property. I think it's released. You have 2.5 movies because Shazam wasn't in Black Adam, but it's in the lore. So you have 2/3 of a trilogy, and I just think the movie is dead. I just think the franchise is dead in the water, which is a shame.
I thought it was weird that they brought Wonder Woman in it. Like,
yeah,
that was awesome though.
That's like reminded me of what's it called? Batman and Superman. Was it Dawn of Justice or something? That movie that we had.
But also, one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in any movie is when he goes to kiss Wonder Woman in his dream, and it's the High Wizard.
Oh yeah. My main issue with this, it kind of, after you sit down and think about it, it's kind of Legend of Tomorrow. It's kind of like something that starts with a whole bunch of action, but then you kill it with comedy relief. And that's what kills me about this movie, because when I go see a superhero movie, I want to see the hero. I want to see everybody get punches, shots, and everything in. I'm not so much as comedy when it comes to my superhero movies. I want to see some action.
Okay, but what if I can interrupt you for 1 second when you say that? I would like to make a point.
Sure.
Because this is kind of like a half comedy. Was the comedy any better or worse than the quips that came in the later Marvel movies while they were fighting?
It just didn't. And the same thing for the Marvel movies.
But it was a lot more obnoxious in the Marvel movies.
It was. I agree with you on that. But primarily, I just don't like, and maybe it's a me thing, as Janae says, there needs to be a balance, but I'm just knocked down, drawn out action. If I'm spending $20 to $60 for me and my kids to go see this thing, I want some knocked down, drag out fights. And then the other thing that bothered me was the fact that toward the end, it was implied that the family got their powers back. You never saw it. And I would love to have seen them get their powers back, so we would have known.
That was like the one thing that messed me up. I was like, so are they not just the Shazam family no more, or what the heck?
There needs to be balanced. You making fun of my drinking, bruh?
But anyway,
I would say I kind of agree with that. I think the fights needed to come through with as ruthless as Lucy Liu's character was.
Yep.
She never actually got a legitimate fight.
Nope.
And I would have liked to have seen her. I mean, I guess she killed her sister. And the spoiler warning came out already, so suck it. I guess she killed her sister, but like there was never she didn't have a face off, and she should have had a face off with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether it was Mary Marvel, whether it was Shazam himself, whether it should have been. Yo, I'll spoil your dinner. I saw pictures. Whether it was Mary Marvel, Shazam himself, or anyone else, she should have had a face-off. And the only face-off she had was on the dragon.
Yep.
The face-off was more with the dragon than it was with her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly.
And I kind of feel like, because I loved Lucy Liu's character, but I feel like it went to waste because there was no actual fight.
Right.
She shot the staff a couple times and commanded a dragon. So that was a disappointment to me. You know, I liked this movie, and now you're bringing up all the disappointments. You know,
I'm terrible. I'm sorry. But another thing that bothered me then, not so much now, but then, was the recast of Mary Marvel. Look, if you've watched the new Hawaii 5-0 series, I love Michelle Borth. I love her to death. She was Mary Marvel in the first one. I love her to death.
And I liked her as Mary Marvel in the first one.
Yeah, love her to death. And it's like you replaced her with some political BF, from what I understand. It ended up working out, but I was sort of kind of mad that I couldn't see Michelle.
I think Janae's giving you a timeout.
Yeah, she put me a timeout, y'all. She put me in time. I got to get the dunce hat. She put me in timeout. But another thing that kind of bothered me in this movie too was the fact of the end scene with the JSA. He thought he was going to the Justice League to go be Wonder Woman, but then all of a sudden you just throw him in the JSA. You talking about one of the three heavy hitters in DC, and Superman, and then you can have your pick between Shazam, Wonder Woman, one of the three heaviest three.
Yeah,
I don't understand the disrespect there. I mean, because she said Justice, yes, because I thought it was going to be the Justice League, as we seen in Justice League Unlimited, as we seen in Young Justice. And you say Justice Society?
I kind of liked though how he got the thesaurus out. And he was like, Marvel Avengers Society. I like the sound of that one. that was pretty funny when he did that.
but I thought he was. I thought shooting they were gonna put him in the Justice League. But then he put him in the Justice Society, and it's like not everyone knows the Justice Society.
They didn't even put him in the Justice League International.
Right. That's the thing. You just went right old school Justice. What? You talking about the B team?
And the thing is, you went old school with the Justice Society, but you used Justice. Are you okay?
The heck?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. The heck was that? Anyway,
Janae. I mean, I think, and that's another thing that bothers me now that you mention that, because they went old school with the Justice Society, but back in Black Adam, they went new school with Teth Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the problem that I had with the MCU. You've got some characters coming from the Ultimate Universe, and some characters come from the 616, and it makes no sense.
None.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, and that was the thing that bothers me, because you're bringing the news. Because if you go back Justice Society, it depends how far you go back. Because if you go back, we're looking at Al Scott, the first Green Lantern.
Yeah. who you could escape from by running into the woods.
Oh damn! For real?
Because that ring is his ring is weak to wood.
His weakness was wood, and then he ended, and then they retroactively made him gay, which, so his weakness was wood on two fronts.
But that, so it depends how far you go back, because the JSA wasn't always, because you had Golden Age Superman, but we haven't seen Golden Age Superman in a DCEU movie.
But Golden Age Superman is still Clark Kent.
Yeah, he is. He's still Clark Kent. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're taking Jay Garrick and the Flash, and and that's what I really think. If I ran DC Studios, one, it would be a lot more fun. But I would have taken characters like Shazam, and I would have done the JSA angle separately from the other DCU. I would have had a golden era universe. And I would have had Alan Scott and Jay Garrick,
Guardian,
and Guardian, and Liberty Bell. And I think fans would love that if you did a golden era portion of the DCU separate from the current DCU, and you could have crossovers. Like, you could have the golden era Superman there. You could have the Flashes, Barry Allen, Wally West, and man, as the father of a daughter, that melts my heart. You could have, and it would set up for crossovers. You could do like the Spider-Man Homecoming moment with Jay Garrick, Wally West, and Barry Allen. And I think I brought this up in the chat. They missed a really big opportunity there when they formed Shazam.
I just think that I don't know.
Oh, Janae's learning how to write.
Number 2 pixel.
And read. Yes, that is number 2. That's what it says.
But again, like I say, you're right, because you could have done so much. Shazam could have bridged the gap to so much more stuff we could have been given. It's not even funny, and not to disclaim, to put aside what James Gunn's new endeavors will be, because we have yet to see them. So we sort of kind of have to take a
honestly, as someone that's covering for the site, and feel free to disagree with me. I'm very opinionated. You all know that. I had confidence at first when he came in, and I'm losing confidence by the day.
I don't blame you. Because you see the direction. Go ahead, Dom.
But what's the 2 newest DC Marvel movies? Are they like hosted by James Gunn or no? Because I know there's the Blue Beetle movie's coming out, and then the Flash movie that's coming out like later this year. Are those like hosted by James Gunn, or are they just like before he?
No, the Blue Beetle was slated before he came on. The Flash was slated before he came on. Aquaman 2 was slated before he came on. Aquaman 2 will make money because of thirsty 40-year-old women.
Jason Momoa's abs.
They, like people forget.
Be careful.
People forget.
Gotta be back next week.
Movie theaters sell booze now. And you're gonna have these ladies coming in. What are you, Mr. Belding?
Gotta be careful. Gotta be back next week. Just saying.
But you're gonna have.
She loves Jason Momoa's abs.
Most movie theaters have bars now. You're gonna have these 40-year-old cougars coming in and drinking their margaritas and being like, "Momoa is so hot. I just wish he could come off this screen and sweep me away into his sea of love."
Oh man.
So that's gonna make money, man, because no one spends money like a 40-year-old cougar.
Jesus.
Why you aging Janae up? Come on.
I
now.
didn't age Janae up. What do you got a crush on? You got a crush on Jason Momoa, bro? Why you got a crush on Jason Momoa, bro?
Stop it. Stop it. But you bring up but you're bringing up good points.
The Flash, I think, won't do as well as people think it will. I think it'll have a spectacular opening weekend. It might even set records because people are going to want to see Michael Keaton Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But younger people don't give a crap about Michael Keaton Batman.
Right.
So once everyone that wanted to see that sees it, that's your box office.
Yeah.
It's gonna dry up.
I'm not crazy about that Supergirl. I mean, no offense at all to her. I think her name is Sasha Calle, the actress. Nothing against her at all, personally, but
it doesn't look right.
It
doesn't fit. I'm with you. I don't have anything against her. It doesn't fit.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't fit. You see her on the screen, and it doesn't fit.
Like
and in the trailer, why is the Flash in a plane?
Thank you.
You can run at supersonic speeds.
Hell,
he was even running
in the comics. He was even running on clouds.
He could run on water.
Yeah.
Why are you in a plane?
Right.
The only time you get in a plane is Batman telling you to get in the plane because he says, "I'm rich, so I get to tell you what to do." And I know you can all get there on your own, but you're getting in the Batplane.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's like, will these movies even go anywhere? Or like with the whole thing rebooted?
I really think if The Flash does well, they're going to use it as a soft reboot, whether they keep Ezra Miller or not. I don't know. Like, Ezra Miller has a stack of Willy Wonka golden tickets.
Just cash them in.
Like he's got like a safe full of Willy Wonka golden tickets because Johnny Depp got fired over a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And Ezra Miller's kidnapping people.
Did you hear a rumor about him?
Which one?
Up here talking about he's coming back for 300 some odd million.
Ezra or Johnny?
Johnny.
No.
That's been a rumor for a while. I don't think he's coming back to Pirates. I think there is a script written in the event that he comes back. There's been 2 scripts written for the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie because I did research to write an article on that, but the trail went dead and I didn't have enough to write. But I do know there are 2 scripts written, one without Johnny, one with him.
Wow.
And Johnny Depp, as weird as he is, I don't not like Johnny Depp, but I know he's a weird dude. But I think he's taken this slight very seriously, and I don't see him coming back.
Right. Take it personally. Yeah.
I don't see him. And he will not come back to Warner because that was a huge slap in the face to fire him from Fantastic Beasts and leave Ezra Miller in.
Yep.
So he will never work with Warner again. Disney, Bob Iger's in charge of Disney now, so Bob Iger has that velvet glove. Like he comes in and like sings sweet words to you like Prince. So he might be able to get Johnny Depp to calm down and come back. Johnny Depp will never do another Warner movie.
Which is sad because it's like, how would you how do you judge someone prematurely, and then as soon as the evidence comes out, you're like, you just really say you
because
you
Amber Heard's dog stepped on a bee. Okay, do you know how traumatic that is? Her dog stepped on a bee.
My dog has bees, and his face falls up. I'm not crying over that.
I just think that it's unfair. It's unfair because you see someone who wants to play the role in Henry Cavill, and they don't want him to play the role anymore. But you have someone who has no business playing a role in Ezra Miller, and he's still in the newest movie.
What I think about I'm sorry. Go.
I hope Cavill gets over at Marvel for Captain Britain at some point.
That would be amazing.
Fit. But I don't. Be a perfect fit.
But is Excalibur? Disney's having problems with Marvel. Is Excalibur even on the table?
I don't think so.
No. And I'm definitely not getting my Alpha Flight show.
Nah. I got a chance to go back and read some of their older issues. I see why you're a fan of Alpha Flight now. I wasn't so much a huge fan of him without Wolverine, but yeah, I see why you're a fan of him now.
Yeah, even with Puck, who's probably the most useless character ever invented.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Name of
Puck.
You're named after sports equipment. Like, I'm Puck, and this is my brother Jockstrap.
But I get it though. You had Sasquatch, North Star. I get it.
North Star, Guardian. It was it. But what worries me about Superman is not only did James Gunn put the kibosh on Cavill coming back, he's directing the Superman movie.
That's my thing.
And he's not the right guy to do that.
Nope.
And I like James Gunn as a director. Everything he's done, I've enjoyed. The Suicide Squad. I love Peacemaker. I'm waiting for season 2. Guardians of the Galaxy are great movies. But I think I'm going to draw the line at Superman because there's a certain amount of reverence and respect that you have to have for a character like Superman. And James Gunn's kind of like a slapstick, oopsie-doopsie director, and that's not going to fly in a Superman movie.
You have to be really careful when you mess with that because as far as your trilogy, DC's trilogy goes, you'll see a lot of changes done to every other character. But when it comes to that trilogy, they are super careful.
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how I'll equate it. James Gunn directing Superman, to me, is equivalent to Mel Brooks directing Moby Dick.
No.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you ain't wrong. All right, you guys.
Ahab's leg will be like a baseball bat, but it's like a wiffle ball bat that keeps breaking. And gradually gets more duct tape along the movie.
All right, you guys, let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up for the night. We're going into an hour. Diamond, what are your final thoughts for tonight? Want to comment on Shazam, Black Adam? What you want to comment on?
Probably comment more on Black Adam. Even though I like The Rock, it was just like it was a huge I don't know what the right word would be, like fail or cop out for an entire movie, in my opinion.
I would say fail.
Yeah, it's just so bad. But it's not even so bad it's good type of thing. It's just bad.
I mean, the only reason I give it a 6 out of 10 is because Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodge carried it.
Besides those two.
Yeah, those two made it a 6 out of 10. The other 4 points belong to The Rock.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from you, Ambrose?
If you liked this conversation, I actually did a write-up on the Shazam series recently, a couple days ago, so go to geeknewsnow.net, check it out. It ties into Shazam2's box office performance and whether or not the superhero genre has a future. So I'd love for anyone watching to, except for you, Janae, to go to the website, check it out, give a comment, let me know. And I take all forms of criticism except from Janae. So if you want to just, tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong, disagree with me. I love a good conversation. As you can see, I disagreed with William, but there's common ground to be met. And if we all agreed, the world would be weird. So
exactly.
Go read the article. let me know where I'm right and wrong. I would love for you to do that. I also have a article I printed today where Elizabeth Banks has been contracted by Kathleen Kennedy to reboot Star Wars episodes 4 through 6 for a modern audience.
Wow.
So you might want to check that out.
Yes.
The cast so far, Seth Rogen's playing Chewbacca.
Oh, nice.
Joe Pesci will be playing Yoda. Elliot Page is Han Solo. And they want to take a more modern approach with Leia, and Leia's going to be a strong, independent woman. So Elliot Page is Solo, and Lil Nas X is playing Lando Calrissian. And Solo and Calrissian are going to be a romantic couple as opposed to Solo and Leia.
Lil Nas X.
Rosie O'Donnell has gladly accepted the role of Jabba the Hutt.
Come on.
She said it's a role she was born to play and she is very excited. Joy Behar will be Emperor Palpatine.
Oh my god.
Joy Behar of The View.
Oh my god.
One of the two of the more controversial things about this reboot is that they gender swapped Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi will now be played by Jane Fonda. And James Earl Jones's voice for Darth Vader has been deemed too intimidating and oozing with toxic masculinity. So they have replaced his voice with Daily Wire pundit Ben Shapiro.
Damn.
And it's going to be interesting.
I thought it was going to be that voice actor that played Eric Cartman. That's what I thought.
Oh, also, Brie Larson has finally achieved her dream of being in a Star Wars movie. She will play the long-lost daughter of Jar Jar Binks.
I thought she put a giant worm that comes out of the...
giant worm.
They didn't even give Brie Larson a script. They said, you're going to be the daughter of Jar Jar Binks. Just come in and be yourself. And Jar Jar Binks will be played by SNL veteran Chris Kattan.
Dang.
Oh, man.
So it's going to be interesting to say the least. It's going to be an interesting 7 years for these movies to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see what butt double Brie Larson has in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do not disparage Brie Larson.
I mean, I would cast Brie Larson as the Rancor.
I would cast Brie Larson as the goddess of Earth.
Nah, I like that casting better.
Nah, I do it all that.
Of course, I say that in jest. She's horrible.
Terrible. My final thoughts are, it's a shame to see this franchise as a whole go down so quickly.
Agreed.
I've never seen a whole franchise be taken down by one man so fast. Dwayne has to realize that this is not pro wrestling. Dwayne has to realize that there's a certain way things have to go in order to be successful. And yes, if it was pro wrestling, Black Adam versus Superman, okay, I got you, but that's not the way it was written. That's not the way it's done. You have to give us Captain Marvel first, give us Shazam first, and then you go for what you want to do with Superman thereafter. But it's just a shame because you killed Black Adam, you killed Shazam, you killed the Black Mary art all in one fell swoop. And it's a damn shame.
What I wanted, if I could jump in on that, is I wanted a fight between Black Adam and Shazam. And I think if they really were set on having Henry Cavill make a cameo, Black Adam, Shazam duke it out. They have an epic fight. Black Adam gets the upper hand. He's just beating the hell out of Shazam. And then he looks up in horror as he sees Henry Cavill lower down. And then it's on. Mm-hmm. That is the way it should have ended.
Right. That would have been badass.
That would have been
badass. Because I don't care. Look, I don't care what people say. Nobody, It's Black Adam. I could care less about Amanda Waller at the end of the day. I could care less.
Why are they stressing on putting her in every movie? She's not Nick Fury.
No.
She's not Nick Fury. Like, stop. And I'm sorry, Viola Davis is a great actor, but there are better people to play Amanda Waller. You need someone with no emotion. Angela Bassett would be an awesome Amanda Waller because she has that Stonewall face.
Right. But in this movie, I could have cared less from her. And how is the correlation?
She's another one that was unnecessary.
Yeah, because was it court? Because you never really saw the JSA from what I remember. Never had anything to do with Amanda Waller because Amanda Waller wasn't freaking born yet.
She could have been out of it, and it could have been Dr. Fate saying, Hawkman, I touched the helmet, something's going on, we need to go figure this out.
Because if you take Amanda Waller, you equate Amanda Waller more with the Justice League than with the JSA.
And the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You don't put her with the JSA. And that's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. That's the problem with both Marvel and DC. They're merging the universes.
And you should be
and
doing
it's
it.
Becoming very confusing.
And you shouldn't be doing
You have Ultimate Hawkeye. You completely I'm going to go off on a tangent on the MCU for 1 second.
Sure.
You have Ultimate Hawkeye, who is the most boring character in the Ultimate Universe, whereas the original Hawkeye in the 616 was a thief and was trained by Hank Pym, who they completely washed out.
Yep.
He was the most important Avenger. He put everything together, and they were just like, nah, we don't need him.
Don't make no sense.
Makes
no sense.
Tony Stark was not smart enough to invent Ultron.
Yeah, that's just threw me off when he did that.
Hank Pym did that.
Hank Pym invented Ultron.
Yep.
And the fact that they made an Avengers movie without Hank Pym, even if they didn't make him Ant-Man, you have him as a scientist using Pym particles to fix their things. You want to alter the story a little bit, go ahead and do that. But Hank Pym is one of the most important characters in Marvel history, and they made him geriatric Michael Douglas.
Yep.
As a side note in whatever the franchise. I don't even want to start on that. That's a whole nother
show.
That makes Shazam look like Citizen Kane. Did you see MODOK? Did you see MODOK?
Oh my god!
I had nightmares. He looked like one of those. He looked like one of those NFL players where the helmet is too small for his head, and they can't find a helmet big enough for him. So his face is being squeezed out of his helmet. It's because they saw he was a wife beater. Yeah, but you could change that. You can change that, bruh. You
really could. Really could if you wanted to. You could have. If you wanted to, you could have. All right. If I can't believe it. Time flies when you have fun.
I think all in all, this was a good show. I really enjoyed this conversation, guys. I'm sorry if I jumped in. I tend to interrupt sometimes, but I enjoyed talking with you guys.
Next week, we may get into a little bit of your article, Ambrose, on superhero fatigue. We might get into that a little bit more next week.
I'll be happy to talk about it
because I'm really starting to see that with a lot of people. That they're just tired of these movies because they're not sticking to the source material at all on almost all of them, and B, there's really nothing new that's being brought out to make people go see these movies.
True. You're usually waiting to see on Disney Plus or something, or
right
Max.
It's kind of like I have a friend that's been to prison, and he compared the recent superhero movies. He was like, you wake up, you get eggs for breakfast, you get bologna for lunch, you get Salisbury steak for dinner, And that's what Marvel's doing right now. You're just getting eggs, bologna, and meatloaf over and over and over again. And he was like, I can't do it, man.
Right.
I gotta duck out of this.
Right. Yep. All right, you guys. I want to say thank you for everybody coming through in the chat. Thank you, Janae. We appreciate you. Ando, we appreciate you. Ando,
oh, wait. Don't speak for me. I do not appreciate Janae, bro.
Hey, Ando, appreciate you coming through. Enjoy WrestleMania today and tomorrow. I know it's a 2-day event, so we appreciate you.
Yay, Ando. Boo, Janae.
Oh, my goodness. Diamond, thank you for coming through. Appreciate you guys taking the time out coming through this to somewhat of an abbreviated show, but I had a good time. And next week we'll get into the topic of superhero fatigue. Real quick before we go, shout out to my boy Shaw. For those who don't know, he's in a hospital right now. We wish you a speedy recovery. Hurry up and get back to us. We miss you, and so hurry up and come back, bro, because we need you, man.
This wasn't the same without you, man. So no. I know you're watching because you love this show. Get better, come back, because this wasn't the same without you. We need your input.
Wasn't the same without you at all, Shaw. Janae's in the Moon Kingdom somewhere with some extra special Wi-Fi from outer space. Able to log into the show today. Geeking Out, how you doing, Geeking Out?
Janae, you better bring me back some feet pics and some moon chicks.
Oh my God.
The Geeking Out Podcast. Thank you for being here, my friend. We really appreciate you being here. Yes, get well soon, Shaw. Get well soon. Kat, I have no clue what Kat is. She might be out somewhere with George. I don't know. Maybe she finally got a hold of the Red Lantern Corps. I'm not sure. But hopefully we'll get Kat.
You know, she usually communicates and is really detailed in what she's doing. So whatever she's doing, awesome. Hope you have fun. And we'll see you next week.
Oh yeah, I know what's up with that. Hope she'll be back. I know what's up.
Good. I love Kat.
Yes,
I love Kat. Just not Janae.
He's bashing on Janae already.
He's bashing on Janae show today. Oh my!
Try to troll me. Try to come at me, bro.
All right. For everyone here on the panel, myself, for Diamond and Ambrose, we'll see you guys again next week, right here on the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you guys again next week. Everyone have a safe week and take care.